Okay, I've opened up Adobe Illustrator and I'm starting by creating a new document. So this is preparation for the files you need to make, or the file you need to make, so you can have that file ready for the next class. So these are the steps you would need to take. So I'm in Adobe Illustrator. I'm opening up a new document and I want it to be 8.5 by 11 horizontal. So width 11, height 8.5. The inches, of course, it's going to be inches. You don't have to change anything, that just one artboard, and I'm going to hit create. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to create a file for me, and I want to make sure I have my layers palette accessible because I need that going forward. Okay. So I'm going to window, make sure I select layers so I can see my layers palette, and I'll dock my layers palette somewhere over here so I'll be able to access it fairly quickly there. So move that up there. Actually, I'll bring it out. Just double click it here. So I just make sure I just want to make sure that I have it available so I can see it. Okay. So I'm gonna move that out. Make sure you have your layers palette available so you can see it. So one of the reasons why is because we need several layers in this particular document. Okay. So I'm going to go to File and Place. And if you downloaded the folder for this assignment and for the things that you need, this particular file is in that folder. So I'm going to hit this Celebrity Theater, celeb underscore 2, which is the Celebrity Theater logo. So this is the logo that we will be creating in Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this over to the side here because we only need this for reference. We only are using this for reference. We're not going to do a live trace like we did with Starbucks or anything like that. We only need this for reference. So I'm just going to bring it over out of the way so I can see it. Now you can see for this logo, you have theater, you have celebrity, you have a film strip, you have a film strip right, a film strip left, and then you have a star on top. So there's several layers here. So if we count these layers, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 layers that we need within our layer palette, including the actual logo reference layer. Okay. So in that, what I'm going to do is just in the bottom of my layers palette here, I'm just going to add 6 layers. So I'm just going to hit create new layer down here at the very bottom. And if see where that is, I'm going to zoom in on that. So right here, you're going to do a create new layer. Okay. You're just going to click that. And I'm going to do it 6 times. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 7 layers. And I'm going to just name these layers as I go here. So of course my star is on top. So I'm going to double click on that 7. Just name that star. 6 is going to be my mid film strip. So film strip in the middle. So mid film. The layer 5. And I'm just going from top to bottom here. It's going to be film right or film left, whichever one you want to name. Either one, either side. Film right, film left. The next one is going to be celebrity. You're going to have to name the actual layer. Okay. And the last one is going to be theaters. Now, this is the thing here. Everything is pretty simple. The hardest part is going to be the effects and the curves and all that kind of stuff. That's the hardest part. It's more monotonous work to kind of get. It's like, it's a lot of steps, but it's going to go really, really quickly. So it's not going to be as hard as it seems. And now here, I'm just going to reference this as a logo. I don't need it because I'm not going to keep it because, of course, we're going to use it over in Photoshop. So I'm not going to keep it in here, but it's there for us to build on. That's all. So let's get the easier stuff done first, and then we can knock out the big stuff. So basically, we're going to, on the theaters layer, we're going to select the text tool. We're just going to type theater in all caps. Done. Okay. I'll move that down here. We can make that a little bigger. All right. Now, the font that I chose for this would be Geneva. So up here in my character palette, while that's selected there, I'm just going to type in Geneva. And this is the one that I'm going to use for this particular theater. That's what I'm going to use there. So I'm going to do Geneva. And I'm going to put that down here at the bottom. Okay. So the next thing, I'm going to type celebrity. Okay. So click on the celebrity layer. I'm going to click my text to, type to, all caps. All right. Now here, I use Georgia for this. Okay. Now, I've been looking at that particular font and I've been thinking about it. So because I have not created an outline out of this font yet, it's possible that we may change this on the day we get ready to do the other part. We may change the actual typeface. But as for now, we're just going to go with Georgia. So up here at the top where you click on celebrity at the very top in your characters palette up here, we're going to type in Georgia. All right. So there we go here. So we got our celebrity, we got a theater. We're almost done, right? So just go to the next easiest part, which is going to be on the very top, the star layer. I'm going to select the rectangle tool, hold that down and go down to my star tool. Okay. And then I'm going to just drag a star. Now, look at how that star is dragging here. So clearly it's not what we want. So I want to what? Hold down the option key, draw from the center out. Okay. That's what I want there. So draw from the center out with the shift key held down. So hold it down. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to start dragging. Option, shift, drag. There we go. Let the mouse go first and then let your keys go and you have your perfect star. So only thing we have to do now is focus on the film. Okay. We got the easiest parts out. So I'm just going to turn off the visibility of the star layer. I'm turning off the visibility of the celebrity layer, the theaters layer, and I want to select the mid layer. That way I know I'm working on that layer. I know that I'm working on that layer. Okay. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool. Okay. I'm going to, now I can do one or two things. I can click directly on the page and a rectangle option menu will come up and I can type in something like 8 by 1 and 1.25 and hit that and it gives me that strip. Okay. I can guesstimate strip. Okay. So however you want to do that is up to you. We can type in, like I said, 8 tab 1.25, 8 inches and a quarter, 1.25 inch there. And I'm going to use the move tool to move that here. So now I need the actual frame. So I think it's about 5 frames there. So this is the base of the strip and then it's about 5 frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I need to do another rectangle, which means that I need to change my color. And let's change the color for color's sake. Okay. So I'm going to change it to a nice yellow so we'll be able to see a nice gold. Okay. And I'm going to select my rectangle tool. Now we know we need a rectangle that's going to fit within this frame, right? So if I do, I'm going to say 0.85, that's going to be the height. And of course, we don't need anything that's going to be an entire 8 inches long. We need something, of course, a little smaller. Now, I just do 2 inches for now. And of course, we'll have to guesstimate that and see if that works. So let me look at that. It's big enough for the height that I want, but of course it is too wide. So instead of going back to reinvent the wheel, I'm just going to drag this inches over here. So I'm at 1.4 inches and then 0.85 inches. Okay. So now what I need to do is make copies of that. All right. Make copies of that. So I'm going to select just the gold, hold down the option key to get the double arrows. So let me zoom in on that so you can see what I'm doing there. When I hold down the option key, I get these double arrows that come up, okay, when I hold down that option key. So now, when I hold down the option key and I start to drag, I can move that. If I hold down the shift key, it allows me to constrain it as I move it. So I'm going to eyeball that about right here, and then I'm going to let the mouse go first, and then I let my keys go. But I do not deselect. I do not deselect because I want to duplicate the exact step I made, the same distance, the same item, at the exact same spot, but I wanted to walk down the line. So when I made that one step, I did not take off the selection. So now I can hit Command D or Control D on the PC and do Command D, and it makes a duplication of exactly what I have. Perfect. Okay. So once again, you take your option key, you drag, hold the option key and shift, drag, let the mouse go first, then let the keys go, and then you go Command or Control D to make a duplication. Okay, so let's zoom back out and see what we got here. All right, perfect film strip there. So now we need the notches on the film strip. We need the little notches up at the top, right? So let's zoom in on that. Let's take a look what we got here. So now we need notches up here. We need notches down there. And that looks like that's about line right, but it may not be. So let's look at that because we want that aligned on the center. So let's see is all of that aligned on the center. We're going to select all of this and just take a look. Haha, see it's a little off there. See that little just in the middle right here. So we see it's a little off, just a slight bit. So we want to fix that because it'll give us a better distance when we get ready to do our notches. So we're going to go align, and we will do align. Let's see. We need to align. Do we need to align? We need to align. I'm trying to think of, do we need to align horizontal? I think we need to align vertical. Let's see. Yep. Vertical align. Because if we do horizontal align, what that's going to do is put everything right in the center, I believe. So we don't need to do that. But we need to do a vertical align that makes everything kind of lines up on that same edge. Now I'm looking at this end and this end. Let's just see here. I believe I need to do, I don't believe vertical align will be beneficial to us, but because I believe it's going to stack everything. Yeah. Yep. So horizontal align stacks everything along that center. So I'm going to undo that because I don't want that. There we go. So I'm fine with that for now. And if I need some tweaking, do a little tweaking, and I'll do that later. Okay. So now let's zoom in on that like we were doing before. And we want to do our notches. Okay. I'm going to do the notches the exact same way I did the actual film strip with the little twist there. So here, I'm just going to guesstimate my notch. Right, about right here. I'll be fine with that. And I can actually pull that notch off the edge if I want, maybe like that, because when I change this white, it's going to look like it's cut into that. So I'm going to pull that off the edge like that, okay? So when I do there, I'm going to hold down my option key, and I'm going to go straight down. I'm going to hold the option key, and I'm going straight down to about here. All right? So now I have two notches, one at the top, one at the bottom, and I want to go all the way down the end. I just want to do it at the same time. So I'm going to hold down. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to deselect everything so I can show you the step-by-step of how to do multiple selections. So with my move tool, the black arrow, I'm going to click this first notch, hold down the shift key, and I'm going to click the second notch. That's it. So both of those things are selected. Now, of course, I want to do a duplication. So I'm going to hold down the Option key. You see the double arrows come up, right? Click, and I start to drag. But you see how it's kind of all over the place. I want to hold down the Shift key to constrain it. I'm going to say drag it to about right here. Let the mouse go first, then let the keys go. Do not deselect. So I'm going to zoom out so we can see what's going to happen here. Now that I've zoomed out, I'm going to hit Command D all the way down the line to make my notches. Command D or Control D on the PC. Okay. All the way down the line. And there we go. Right. Okay, so there we have our film strip. Now, for Ms. Williams, your film strip is gold. We want white. What you gonna do? I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do because you know I'm a fan of working smarter and not harder. So I'm gonna click one of the gold just so I can select that color. And I'm gonna go up here to select, and I'm gonna go to go down to same, and I want to do same fill color. Same fill color. Select same fill color. So it's selecting everything that's gold. And now I can go over here and hit white in my swatches and change everything white. So now I have my film strip, my notches white, and my film strip white. Now, I thought about later that clearly when I'm doing a film strip that those notches are actually poked through, but I'm okay with this for now. Okay, so now I have my mid film strip there, and I'm going to go to Object. First, I'm going to copy. I'm going to go to Edit and Copy, and then I'm going to go to Object and Group. I'm going to tell you why I did that. I need to make the right film strip, right frame, and the left frame. No, I don't. I got them right here. So I made a copy of it. So when I go to my other layer, I'm going to paste that copy that I made and delete everything with what I need. So here, let's zoom out so we can see our whole page here. I got that group together, so I'm going to bring that about right here because I know in my layers palette, right, I'm going to have my star right there. Okay, and then I'm having my film over there. I'm having film over there. I'm got my celebrity, blah blah. And so I just need those other two film strips to be done, right? So let's turn this off and let's go to and make our other film strips. So turn off the mid, turn off the star, and I'm gonna go to this film right, the first one right under there, and I'm gonna hit Command V or Control V to paste. V as in victory. V as in the violin. That V. Some people say, did she say V? Did she say D? Did she say C? Did she say B? V as in van. So Command V to paste. Okay, I'll go up to Edit and Paste. You see it's Command or Control V on the PC. So I'm going to close up my layers palette there so I can zoom in and see here. So here we got, I didn't group this. Remember, I didn't group this. I copied first and then I group. So got everything we need, right? Right here. I only need one frame. So if I take my selection tool, which is the black arrow here, and just draw around this stuff here, I can get rid of what I don't need. Okay, I think I want to get a little closer though. So maybe about right here. Let's do that. So I'm gonna see I'm kind of halfway in between the first and the second frame, and I'm selecting just that, drawing my box right around there. And in Illustrator, as long as you have what you want, some part of what you want within the selection is going to select. Okay. Now, had I grouped that, it would select that first frame as well, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to select that, hit OK. Let me let go there. Now, of course, it is selecting the black part. Okay. I don't want to select it. So remember, if I hold down my Shift key and I click this black area, it's going to deselect that. What I want gone is all the white pieces, except that first part of that frame. So now that I have that selected, I can just press delete on the keyboard. Okay. Now I'm going to take this part of my film strip, and I'm just going to drag that down here. That right. Right here. Okay. And so now I'm going to select that object group, right? Hold down the Option key, make a copy. Okay. Well, Ms. Williams, why did you make a copy of that? Well, let's see why I made a copy of that. In my layers palette, I need a film left. So you see my layer here is selected. I can just go right to my layers palette. See that little pink icon there? That means it indicates selected artwork. That's what it says. I'm just going to click on that and drag that here. Now that film strip is on that left layer there. So let's zoom back out there. So now I have a grouped film strip there. I have one here. And I have my big film there. Okay. So let's close my layers palette out so we can see. So now I can put that about right here. Put that about right there. Now, you see how I have these notches hanging out from the end. I kind of want the same thing happening there. So I can just go here to Object, Transform, and I can do a Rotate. I can do a Rotate 90 degrees, 180 degrees. Let's see. Give me 180. Let me just type in 180 degrees. It types that in there. So now those other ones are on that end there. Okay. Now, what's left? We're pretty much done, right? We're pretty much done. Well, we need to make that bend. So I want to make sure that for each one of your layers, well, not each one of your layers, each one of these layers for the film, you have it grouped. So if you click on that, everything gets selected. Okay, that's what you want to see. You want to see when you click on it that everything is selected. So if I click that, it selects everything within that group. The same thing with the other film. I ended up knocking off my toolbar there. Let me turn it back on. There we go. All right, so you want to make sure everything is selected within that group. Same thing here. It selects everything. Same thing here. It selects everything. So what I want to do is make a warp. I want to bend this so to make a warp. Okay. So with the film strip selected here, I'm going to Object, Envelope, Distort, Make with Warp. Object, Envelope, Distort, Make with Warp. So I go here, click there, and then it gives me warp options. So just go up and around the curve. But that's more of an arc, not a bend. Okay, it's not a good bend for me. So if I look down and see the style, I really kind of want to go with this arch. The arch gives me more of the bend that I want. It's a little bit too much, but it gives me what I want. So now I just go here and I take that bend down some. All right, see that? So I'm taking mine down to, let's see, taking about 14. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with 14. All right. Now remember that number. That's very, very important that you remember that number. So I'm going to hit OK. Right. I have my bend there. Well, my end pieces need to bend the other way. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Object, Envelope, Distort, Make with Warp. And now, you see how my bend is already at 14? I'm just going to put a negative in it because I want it to bend the other way. Okay. So now, when I do that, change my preview there, my bend will go the other way. I hit OK. And that's what I want there. I want that bend to go the opposite direction. Same thing with this. Object, Envelope, Distort, Make with Warp. Okay, then turn my preview on, hit OK. There we go. So now you have all of the elements you need for your Celebrity Theater logo. Now, of course, like I said, I'm not totally settled on this typeface right now. So this is still up in the air. I may change it. But as for right now, you're going to use Georgia and then Geneva for this. Now, I believe on the PC, Geneva may not be available. If you have a Mac, Geneva will be available. So that's why I'm kind of on the fence about that particular typeface. So I will be investigating that. But for now, for PC users, use maybe Arial or something like that. Just a plain sans serif font. Sans serif is going to be something with no tails on it. That's what you're going to lose right there. And I will look at a font before, when we get into class to do the next one and change that if I need to. Okay. So you want to go to file and save your file, just as Celebrity Theater AI, because we have a couple of other steps we need in order to get that into Photoshop. Now we're going to do that in class, but you need to have this already ready for class. Okay. All right. If you have any questions, shoot me an email and let me know. All right. Be safe.